Well, I don't.
Yeah.
Certified of that.
We used to find out via email who was not gonna be at the meeting. Now we don't get that information. And that can change. Good. I'd like to see that change. Mike, you there?
I am.
Okay. We're waiting for Nathan to come on the camera. We're missing 2 board members. One we knew about, one we didn't know about.
Okay.
But we do have a quorum and we're gonna rock and roll with some ideas
All right.
and table the rest. Okay. Oh, there's Nathan. All right. We'll start this meeting with pledges. Mr. Gary, would you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So with both the chair and vice chair, we gotta select a chair pro temporary to run the meeting. So
So.
Any
somebody wants to make a
nominations?
motion? I nominate,
What's her name?
yeah, to my left.
okay,
Okay, we have a nomination for what's her name?
do we got a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Do we have to do
Opposed?
the,
Aye.
Do we don't have to roll call
Yeah.
that one, do we?
Yeah.
You do.
Okay,
You have to
roll it.
Roll call everything.
All right, roll call. Nathan,
Aye.
Gary,
aye,
Ruth.
Aye.
Okay, any discussion? All right, I'll turn the meeting over to Ruth.
I already started it. I just assumed that, never mind. All right, we're looking at approval of the minutes from our last meeting.
I've had a chance to read them. I have no issue with them, so I would move that we accept them or approve them.
Hey, motion by Gary,
I have also read them and I will second that motion.
and a second by Nathan.
All right, roll call. Nathan,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye,
Ruth.
Aye. Motion passes. All right. We didn't ask for discussion, but Gary already said he knew what was in there. All right, and we're looking for approval of the vouchers. Any questions on the vouchers?
I just have a general question, and I've noticed this over the last, I don't know how many, but it's a change. And I'm wondering what, on the net account distribution, they list the account numbers, but we don't list what those accounts are or who they are associated with. Is that something new?
For the payroll,
Yeah,
the way the software works, it doesn't name the accounts. And then we hide the employee names from the public record.
it used to name, because I remember my name being in there before. And I was, well, for example, when we get reimbursed for activity in the Planning and Zoning Commission, that would go in as an entry. And I remember my name being there. So is that just a glitch that it was, or?
Well, if it was done through AP, then the name would be there, but through the payroll, the
Okay,
names are,
that's probably it. Then.
yeah.
Okay, good clarification.
And if the amounts are the net pay, you cannot associate names with them. I don't know if those amounts are gross or net.
Those are net.
You cannot associate names with them publicly.
Okay, I mean, that makes sense, but like I said, I remember seeing my name associated with a payment. And I don't know if it was on this or if it was the part of the, anyway. And in the, under that circumstance, would that be acceptable? If it's in the vouchers as opposed to payroll?
So this gets a little bit complicated. that issue of what is public and what is private is governed by the Data Practices Act. As a township that is not in the metro area, you're not covered by the Data Practices Act. But out of an abundance of caution, what our office advises is if the Data Practices Act says it's private, there must be a policy reason behind it. And since you don't have to disclose it, you shouldn't disclose it. The best policy, we think, and that's a policy question, is not to disclose it. Because there must be some reason that the legislature wanted it private. You're not obligated to disclose it. We don't recommend you voluntarily disclose it. So could you do it and not have a liability associated with it? Probably, but we don't want to have to find that out. And that's why we say just go with what all the other governmental entities, cities, counties do not disclose it.
Good news.
All
Thank you
right.
for that clarification.
Any other questions on the vouchers? I just wanted to ask a question too. I mean, last meeting, we were under the understanding of that John Kosky was gonna donate the gravel for the town sign, and I see we're being billed for it.
The concrete, yeah. He said he was only offering to donate for the park, not for the sign.
Okay, all right, that clarifies that to a point.
Yeah. Okay,
That's unfortunate that we all misunderstood him.
yeah. Agreed. All right. Sign looks nice, by the way.
Thanks to Josh and company for putting it together. Thank you.
You are here. Okay, good job, guys.
Any other questions on the vouchers? If not, looking for a motion for approval.
I can make a motion to approve payroll and bills in the amount of $121,235.47.
I second that.
Any discussion? Roll it.
All right, Nathan,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Aye. Okay, being no correspondence and no citizen comments. Nope, nothing signed up. We'll go with old business and Logan isn't here, but what did you find out about an alarm system and an update on our fob entry system?
he was gonna get us some information and I haven't gotten that from him yet. Leah and I were looking at state bid. We did find a couple of companies that we can look into locally for options, but we haven't had a chance to get any information back yet, so that's where we're at.
All right, that looks like we'll table that idea till our next meeting. The other old business is office assistant and I'm gonna recommend tabling that. The job description that came out looks like a full-time position. I think it needs some discussion, perhaps maybe at a work session, rather than just an office assistant position. And I know that Tony wanted to weigh in on that. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to say about that?
I would agree with you 100%. We don't need a motion on that, do we?
No,
No. I agree.
Old business being tabled. We will move on to new business and we have Hockey Association has given us their data. What do we usually donate to the Hockey Association?
it's been 3,150.
Yeah, as long as they have their information, that's what we usually donate. Looking for a motion to approve that.
I so move.
Okay, motion by Gary,
Second.
second by Nathan. Any further discussion? Roll it.
All right, Nathan,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Ruth,
Aye. And then it looks like we have a CD maturity. Was there something you wanted to add on that?
yeah, I guess I didn't put any info, but we had one CD at the North Shore Bank of, let's see, North Shore Bank of Commerce. It is, that was just a short-term one, and it's maturing on August 22nd. It's currently at $120,109.83. So I just want to see what we want to do with that. I got some rates from North Shore Bank, and they have 5 months at 4.05%, or 5 months if you add an extra $10,000 or more at 4.15%, or 9 months at 4.25%. Or the bank in Esko is offering 6 months for 4%, 1 year for 4.1, 2 years for 4.25, or 3 years for 4.3. I guess since we have those other 3 short-term ones, we have one that matures in 7 months, one in 8 months, and one in 11 months. I would recommend going for the long term and going for the 3 years. If you need to access that money before the 3 years is up, the only penalty is that you would lose 1 year of interest.
And repeat who the 3-year.
The 3-year is from National Bank of Commerce in Esko at 4.3. But
Questions, Gary? You look perplexed.
Well, it's a long time to have it tied up, is all I'm thinking. And 4.3 is, it's not, well, it's competitive right now, but if something were to come up between now and 3 years from now, you wouldn't have the flexibility to move into it. You lose a year's
of
interest
interest, yep,
if you
withdraw early
so if you withdrew it at 12 months, you'd lose everything.
of the interest, yep.
Okay, so but if you
So
withdrew.
it doesn't carve into your principal amount, but you
Right.
won't get the interest.
Nathan, any comments from your corner?
Tiffany, what was your recommendation again?
I thought it would be safe to put it in for 3 years, because we have those other 3 in more short term.
Mike, do you have advice for us on CDs?
Unfortunately, I do. This is the accountant in me, not the lawyer. If I've got it, was it a $200,000 CD roughly?
120.
120.
120. Okay, so the difference between a 2-year and a 3-year is 0.1%, 0.001. That's $120 difference in interest. Now, 2 years from now, the interest rates might be different. But if you're only getting a benefit initially of $120 for locking it up for year 3, is that really worth it? If we think interest rates are going to be roughly the same 2 years from now as where they are now. If you follow that?
Yeah, and I guess I don't know where the trends are going with interest rates, but
Nobody does. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. So can I ask, since I already asked your opinion, what would your recommendation be as far as timeline interest?
Yep, and I don't know your full financial situation, but normally I would think you would have a little bit bigger spread in interest rates by going a little bit longer. But for the difference of $120, granted, you're going to earn 4.3% that entire 3rd year. You might not be able to invest it at 4.3 2 years from now. That's the risk. But to me, that seems like a small $120 increase to hold that for that 3rd year and maybe potentially lose the interest, the 4% interest on that, which is $4,800 for a
Well, then
difference of 120.
the other comment then, The 9-month one is the same interest rate as the 2-year one. So then do you want to just go with the 9-month one?
So if we went 9 months, then we can reevaluate in 9 months and either change banks and or change the interest rate according to what might happen in 9 months. I like that idea.
So yeah, I mean, it all depends on if you think rates are gonna go down in that time.
Well,
It's-
I think my crystal ball ain't working, right?
Mine either.
Mine's a little cloudy, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable strategy, the 9 month.
Anyone else want to comment on that? Throwing it back
Sounds
at you,
good to
Mike.
me.
All right, can we have a motion? Mike,
Either one of those, I mean, it really depends on what you're thinking in the future. I can't predict rates, but that strategy makes some sense to me. The risk is maybe rates are going to be lower 9 months from now. Maybe they're going to be higher. That's the only issue that's out there. I think that course makes sense. It preserves your flexibility, gives you the most flexibility.
okay, we've got some big projects coming. That might work out just fine. All right, looking for a motion to that effect. And the 9 month one was with
That was with North Shore Bank.
North Shore. Okay, which one of you is making the motion this time?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can move, I so move that we accept the North Shore 9 month CD. At 4%,
4.25.
4.25.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Gary, second by Nathan. Any discussion? Roll it.
All right, Nathan,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Ruth,
Aye. Motion passes. All right. We have a claim, fire station insurance claim. And Kyle, did you want to speak on that at all?
I reached out to 3 different vendors, only received estimates back from one after a month. Sent that into the insurance adjuster. He accepted it. I just need your
Kiss of approval.
approval to follow through with it.
Okay, Nathan, did you get that proposal? For $9,144 going to BP Builders, Glen Plant.
And this is
it
for,
was in the packet.
Yes, I believe I have it here. Yep, I see it.
Okay,
Gary, to answer your question, this was that damage due to the fire truck,
yeah,
which is also left Monday for repairs, should be gone for 2 weeks.
okay.
and understanding that it's covered by insurance, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
This was approved by the insurance adjuster.
I move that we accept the bid of $9,144.
okay, we have a motion by Gary,
Second.
second by Nathan. Any discussion?
Just for your information, it'll be starting next week.
And they'll be starting next week.
on your
Okay,
approval.
after we approve it.
All right, roll call, Nathan.
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Ruth,
Aye. Motion passes. The next item is about the recycle shed. And I think this will require a little bit of discussion, perhaps at a work session as well, but maybe changing up some things at the shed, maybe putting a recycle or a security camera there. I had a suggestion prior to the meeting that maybe one of the cameras here from the building could be used at the recycle shed. And then a camera that would cover building and recycle shed put on the town hall. Being the other two board members aren't here, I think we'll give that a little bit more investigation, maybe cost wise on cameras. If Logan can give us some costs, so we know what we're dealing with on that. And as long as we're on the recycle shed, I just was curious if we got a response from the union as far as hiring a temporary person for the shed.
Well, I
You
mean,
responded weeks ago and said we could have temporary. If we didn't work more than 67 days
yeah,
in a calendar year, and then we would address it, temporary people at the next contract, or we'd have to do an MOU. But other than that, they had no issue understanding that this was a, what did he say, undue circumstances or whatever?
So they don't have to be in the union.
Huh?
They don't have to be in the union.
He would allow, they would allow it as long as Dan and I were okay allowing the people as temporary.
Okay, usually we get a correspondence from AFSCME.
He did.
The board members didn't get this response.
I
We-
thought
we
Tiffany
just-
gave you the email. Did you forward the email to them?
If you did, it went to my junk.
it was a while
It was a
ago.
long time ago. Yeah, it was in June.
Okay, well, part of the reason I'm bringing this up is I know that Irene is still out for rehab. She'll get her doctor's approval before she comes back. But she's also got a vacation coming up. 2-week vacation and a wedding that she's taking time off for. Just wondering if there's some thoughts as to, you know, what
What we're gonna do with it.
what
at
would
that
be the
time.
best route to go? I know Carlton County has 5 staffed units and 6 unstaffed recycle sheds. I'm gonna propose maybe again, an idea of, you know, putting the hours that would correspond with the hours of the office. So that, you know, the doors could be open and closed when there's no office personnel here
With the camera.
with a camera.
Who's doing the research on the, Logan's doing research on the camera?
Well, not yet.
No, yeah, he was gonna give us information on alarm and fob systems that would work with our style of door.
Okay. So who's gonna do the research on the camera?
We already have cameras. We could, the current vendor.
Okay. Can somebody do that? And then, just out of curiosity, what does the camera capture? Does it capture small enough down to a vehicle with a license plate number or something like that? Or do we know that? Can we find that out?
I know that already.
Okay, what's the answer? Okay.
Not have that quality.
Then maybe maybe it would be a good idea to get a camera that does have quality versus just a camera that's, oh, scare them off. Long as you have a camera vendor, maybe we could check into that and bring that back with some prices for our next meeting. In the meantime, we do have to think seriously about putting someone on a temporary. Who knows how long Irene is actually gonna be out.
Yeah, she said that she is planning on being back on the 12th and she was gonna try to get a doctor's note before that. So that was her plan.
That's next week.
That's next week, yeah.
All right, but we still do need to plan ahead because of, you know, right now we have no one to cover when she has time off.
Right.
So we need some more discussion on that. And I would like the other 2 board members to weigh in on that as well, but
Yeah.
all right.
Is that the regarding scheduled work session? No, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, that's all right. We're allowed. So, yeah, so rescheduling the work session. Because we have that reconvene annual meeting on August 18th, perhaps we could do our work session prior to the reconvene meeting. I did talk to Tony about dates and he said, you know, okay, he's got his knee surgery on Monday, so he's out for next week. He'll be on drugs. So the 17th or the 18th were his recommendation. And maybe the 18th, instead of doing meetings 2 nights, we could just see if we can coordinate prior to the annual meeting.
The annual meeting begins at 6:30.
Yeah,
6:30, yeah. How long would you wanna have for the work session?
At least 2 hours
well, an
scheduled.
hour and a half. Beyond that, we don't listen. I don't know. An hour or an hour and a half, let's say an hour and a half,
So like a 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock.
Or do you want a 4:30 to give a little time in between?
Only if you're bringing supper. I don't know, let's just say 5 o'clock. We can change that. 5 o'clock on the 18th. Mike, does that fit a schedule for you?
I believe it will work. I know the 17th won't, that Monday won't, so the Tuesday I should be free. And
Um,
if you give me a moment, I can check that.
And do you have is there a time better for you?
No, that if I'm free, that 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever you set it on is fine by me. I can make any of those.
Nathan
Let me-
Barta, you'll be back.
So is
Yeah,
my
I'll be
present?
back. On probably the 14th or the 15th, so, and then I'm already planning on being at the reconvened annual, so that would be a good day for me just to put those back to back.
Okay,
Just for a heads up, I will not be there. I have 2 other meetings both days, but I will have stuff on the agenda for that.
We can plan on
Just aware
that.
of it.
all right, we'll go through your agenda.
What about Josh and Mike?
Josh, Mike? What works?
That does,
Yeah, we got,
That-
we'll be there, but we got a few things on our agendas.
Okay, so you're thinking maybe 4:30 we should start? Okay, the road crew says 4:30 they're nodding to 4:30 versus 5 o'clock start time. So,
9 AM even.
no, that won't work. Mike, you said yes?
yes.
All right, we just changed it to 4:30.
Question, does Mike attend the annual meeting as well?
On the reconvene annual meeting, do you usually show up for those meetings, Mike?
Usually we don't, but we certainly do on request if you'd like us to be there. But for most of our clients, I would say no.
Okay, they're usually, okay. We'll take that. All right, so that's done. An item that didn't make the agenda was the personnel policy. And Mike, you want to just tell us what you researched on finishing up a personnel policy?
So the thought is that at our office, we've done a number of these for our townships. We could probably put yours together, basically update it from top to bottom for about $2,500. That would bring you into compliance with all the current laws. We would have to integrate in your contract, your union contract. We are thinking, and again, we haven't delved into the nitty gritty of it, that we would probably reference the union contract portions that are different than your existing personnel policy procedures, if there are differences. Again, I don't know if those two have ever been compared, but we would basically integrate them so that we either reference you back to the union contract for discipline, say, or we take the union contract information and put it into your personnel policy. But that would be about $2,500 to do that. We think there's about another $1,000 to meet with the town board and go through all of there's a number of different choices that you have to make, particularly with a number of the relatively new state programs, what type of benefits you're going to offer. If you currently, although yours with being union, you might not be able to change anything. It depends. We'll have to look at that. But for instance, if you guys are familiar with the ESST, which is the Earn Sick and Safe Time, a number of our clients are looking at that and saying we're consolidating that. We're taking our sick time and we're making it simply ESST rather than adding ESST to it. The difference is that what the state has said, we don't care what your policy is on ESST, you could give your employees a month, you're now giving them another 6 days. Well, some of our townships are saying we're not giving an additional 6, we're taking 6 away out of our initial one, what our current policy is, so that our employees are going to keep the same amount of sick time that they had before. Those types of decisions are what you'd have to look at. We think that's going to take some time to go through that with you, make those changes. We think that total would be about $3,500 after we're done with all those changes.
Do we need a motion to allow him to make those changes?
We need a motion to move forward with the personnel policy and making those changes, yes.
I move that we have hurry and move forward on the update of the personnel policy.
And I'll,
$3,500,
correct,
Not to exceed, correct.
not to
not
exceed.
to exceed.
I'll go ahead and second that. Any discussion? Hearing none? Let's go for a vote.
Nathan,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Ruth,
Aye. Motion
Thank you.
passes.
I
Thank you.
will, we will get started on that in our office and I'll keep you apprised of what the progress we're making with it.
Okay. All right, now we're on to personnel reports. Leah, anything?
No.
Josh and company? Oh, Mike. Who's reporting for you guys?
Michael, take this.
Michael, take it. All right, road crew.
Over the past couple of weeks, the crew's been focused on several maintenance and improvement projects around the township. They completed culvert work, cleaned and straightened roadside, and preparing the town for Esko Fun Days. And we also got the town hall signs set up and squared away. Looking ahead next week, we're gonna look to do mowing around the sanitary sewer line as well. Then we were able to get the road mower back up and running too.
Okay, that's a lot going on. All right, anything else? Kyle, what do you have?
It is Esko Fun Week, so we had National Night Out Tuesday night. We had a firefighter get injured that I had to take to CMH due to a laceration on his hand. He's gonna be perfectly fine, so it's nothing more than an ER visit. And 5 stitches. We have the 5K run walk on Saturday, the parade on Saturday, and that will complete our Esko Fun Days. Our ladder truck went down on Monday. It had a leak in its tank. We had emergency apparatus coming up anyway for pump testing. I pulled them from Carlton and asked them to come over after talking to Derek to make sure it was okay. To do the repairs on that. He was unable to fit in there, so he left the part, one of our guys was able to fit in there and fix it. So that saved us a tremendous amount of money. He did find another issue with the brakes on the front rear axle of the truck that needed to be dealt with immediately due to a failure or safety issue. So I okayed his authorization to make that repair, which was done today. So that put our ladder truck back in service today. Our other truck is down as of Monday, so we were actually down 2 engines. Not a big deal. We still have a third. We were able to just auto aid for more stuff, which is what we would normally do if we had a truck go down. So other than that, all of our trucks passed our pump testing. Couple of small little issues we got to address, but nothing major. All the safety issues were taken care of and we're back good to go.
Okay, sounds good. We have a written report from Bolig. I didn't highlight anything, but you've got that for your careful reference. The one thing I would like to say is there was a nice article about in the Pine Knot about watershed. And what I'd like to request is that when there's an article, full page article like that with Thomson Township all over it, that the board at least be informed that it's going in the paper. Any idea how this is being paid for? Since it didn't come to the board for approval, I was just curious. It's a full page, very well written.
is that what they did for the MS4?
That was the MS4, it's a requirement. Yeah. that was
Right.
The easiest way to get the word out to everybody, but no, I have no idea.
No one knows who's paying for it?
I talked to the paper, asked them who initiated it, and as I understand it, was Bowling who made the request. I don't know, and as far as billing, who pays for it, they weren't clear on
I'm
that.
sure that'll come to us. We did set aside in the budget some money for MS4 requirements, so that's where it would be applied to.
Okay,
Okay,
all right, just curious. I opened the, wow. Okay.
and I just found that out today.
Okay. Gary, what did you have for us? Board reports.
I wish that the whole board were here. I kind of wanted to do a quick review of the delineation issue with Northridge Park. And I can do it again, but the quick and dirty is that sometime back last year, our zoning, or Dan and Nathan from Feist kind of got together and selected a delineation person. That, I don't have the date on when that happened, but sometime last year. Well, the results of that did get given to us in April of this year. And it indicated that about 50% of Northridge is in wetland, is in a wetland.
Floodplain.
Well, wetland. 50% of it is wetland. And with that information, we decided to meet, or ask the county to meet with us on site, because there were some things that we wanted to do to the park building and some of the ground around the park, and we wanted to make sure that the delineation, even though it looked like it wasn't going to be an issue, wasn't an issue. So we had the county, I'm not sure of his title, but it was Mike Crick, came and met with us. I think it was on May 6th. We went over all the little things that we would like to do and make sure that they weren't interfering with the wetlands. And what he shared with us that I think was the bigger issue is that the whole park is in a floodplain, and that kind of takes precedent over everything. So even though the building isn't in wetlands and we think we can do those things, we still need to get approval from a higher level to go ahead and do it. So all the little things that we wanted done, we expressed those to Mike Crick in a email, and he reviewed every one of them, and he has in the meantime gone to his superior, who is Chris Berg. And Chris Berg it's kind of on his plate right now, but he is coming back from vacation soon, and we hope to find out if we can indeed act on all those little things. And it's kind of in his ballpark right now.
Well,
When I say little things, I'm talking about removing the cement pad in front of the restrooms and replacing it with a new pad, bringing up where the fill around the foundation of the pavilion is sunk about 6 inches, if we can just level it out. And it's not in wetlands, so from that perspective, it's doable. But if it's interfering with the floodplain restrictions, then we may not be able to. Now, Mike seemed really supportive of what we were trying to do, and he made it sound like he was going to do everything he can to make it happen. But again, that's until we hear back from Chris Berg, we're not going to know the answer to that. So, Mike, I might ask you a question. Since this park is in the floodplain and we have a big investment in that park, eventually we could run into a situation where the building, we can't do anything to it because of the floodplain restrictions. And have you run into that before with anybody, any townships? And what do they do to resolve that?
So it's been a while. I'm not current on what new rules may have been in place. I know that one of my clients was looking at building in what would be a floodplain, And they were going to be allowed to do it. They would have had to have raised the ground level, basically the foundation level, if you will, or the building, the grade of the building by, I think it was about 4 feet. And they came to the conclusion that just wasn't able to be done financially. But and this is on a river, as I recall. I don't remember if it was Army Corps or DNR they had to work with. I suspect it was probably the feds rather than DNR. And at that point in time, this is probably a good 15 years ago, it was permitted, at least at that site, to be able to fill it. They chose not to. So I am guessing that if those rules haven't changed, if you wanted to do something with that building, you would have to elevate it in order to build it. That would increase some cost. I don't know now if they have replacement, where I know that I've heard talk of the feds did not want to lose the floodplain area and have it all get developed and elevated because that makes the flooding worse elsewhere. So I don't know if they have any replacement. That's going to be probably an Army Corps question or whoever. Trying to think of which federal agency approves those floodplain maps and issues them. I don't remember if it's Army Corps or if it's somebody else. But I think whoever issues those maps would be your first place to check. Probably your engineer would know this. And that, to me, that is the real question is, can you even lift that building up if you had to? Because I suspect that that's going to become the requirement if you can build on that at all.
Okay. And thank you for that. We're at a point now where we're waiting on answers just to do these little things, and we have some confidence that that's going to happen. But I think from a long-term perspective, we need to be thinking in terms of a different location.
Well, Mike,
long-term meaning 20, 30 years.
yeah, I won't be around. Mike, there is only one park in Esko. And our volunteers are doing what they can, but I mean, like, can they put up playground equipment, this type of stuff? Now, I was talking to someone and they told, this is a big word for me, but they said it was a de minimis exception. Can you tell me what that means in English?
Yes, so I can give it to you in the context of a wetland, and they have different de minimis. State law has different de minimis exceptions. De minimis basically means it's so small it's insignificant. And if you're filling a wetland, I think down in our area it's 400 square feet. If you're filling 400 square feet of wetland, you can do that you're allowed to do that without replacing the wetland. In your area, that's going to be probably higher. It might be 2,000 square feet. I know in some areas it is. And I'm assuming that same concept applies in floodplain. I don't know that for sure, but that would make some sense if they had a replacement issue where you had to replace floodplain if you filled some. That may be where that would apply, or they may just say it's so small. If you can fill 1,000 square feet of floodplain anywhere, and we don't care, but you can't go over that. That's what the de minimis exception would be. One of those two, I suspect.
So one of the major things that's been on the docket for the park for many, many years is just having a path so that anyone that's in a wheelchair or handicapped of any nature could go from the parking lot to the pavilion. Right now, there is no path, there is no sidewalk, there's just no way to get there without going on the grass. And just wondering if that's one of the things, can it be done? And if it can, how can it be done?
So if it's I think we're dealing with two different things. If we're not talking wetland and it's an at-grade improvement, meaning you're not going to take away where the water you're not going to put something in the way of where the water can currently go during a flood, you may be able to do that just outright because you're really not changing the flood characteristic. In a flood, the water really doesn't soak into the ground. So having it as impervious, I don't know if that's going to make a big difference. You're going to have to check. I would run all these questions through your engineer. They're going to be most familiar with it. They do deal with these issues with various projects they have. And they might know the answer to that one right off the top of their head. But I would be a little bit surprised if they wouldn't let you do that if you did not change the grade, if it was basically at grade.
Okay. And the other thing is, I did not jumping on top of Gary's suggestions, but I also talked to Mike at Carlton County and he says they don't have recorded a delineation at this time. So Mike did not know, and it's been hard to find out who has the delineation where no one has seen it. Where the volunteers are asking to see it. As a board, we've never seen a delineation, so we're not exactly sure what we're dealing with. So here again, maybe it is with our engineer that we need to follow that out.
Did
I
you
think
pay
that's where I would start. I know that there is a process by which the owner of the land, and in this case, that'd be you guys, you have it surveyed, an elevation survey made, you send it in to Army Corps, whatever other agency that is, they review it, and then they make a determination of what area is floodplain and what is not. And that's largely used for flood insurance maps. But I believe that same process does both. Gets you whether they'll insure it or not, and also whether you're in the floodplain. But the onus, as I recall, it was on the owner to have that survey done and sent in for approval. But check with your engineer, they'll be able to tell you that for sure.
Just one more question. If they were to change out the swing set, put another swing set in, what do we need a permit? And can that just be done because you're replacing what's already there?
I don't know. Again, I'd send that to your engineer. I would think you should be able to, but the engineer is going to have to make that or tell you that answer. There's going to be a definitive rule on that. It shouldn't be a hard thing to find out. I just don't know what that answer is.
Well, thanks for all the input so far.
Mhm.
We'll check further with our engineer.
Yes, thanks, Mike. And
But
where I got my information was basically from an email from Nathan that just said that Greg, the person who did the delineation, would be communicating with the regulating bodies to assist with who will have jurisdiction. So to me, that meant that he should have been filing with the county. But we don't know.
We'll follow that
We'll
out.
follow that up.
All right.
So that's that. And then I had the opportunity to attend the Carlton Ambulance Service meeting a couple of days ago. And just a point of information, so far this year to date, they've had a total of 444 runs with their ambulance and service.
Wow.
444, 8 of which were to our township. So it's not a lot, but it's 8 we couldn't have done. And they're continuing to deal with staffing issues. They're struggling, as a matter of fact, keeping full-time, keeping enough people to man their services on a full-time basis, but they haven't fallen short yet. But it's a problem that they are strategizing on and trying to come up with creative ways to make sure that they don't run short. And then one final thing I would like to do, I would like to recognize those individuals who did the volunteer work at the park pavilion specifically. And if I can, I'd like to just read a little letter that I wrote. Is that okay? Okay. The following Thomson Township Park Committee members and other community volunteers are hereby acknowledged for their commitment and dedication to the betterment of our community green space and specifically Northridge Park. Through their efforts over recent multiple days, the interior of the pavilion has been given a fresh coat of paint on the west wall and kitchen. The kitchen has also been fitted with a stainless steel counter and sink, a wonderful upgrade, by the way. While multiple outdated cabinets were removed and the sitting area of the pavilion has been fitted with 2 stationary stainless steel tables that can be used for the display of food and other utility. So the park committee members are Kelly Hansen, Cassie Jenke, Ashley Allen, and Jerry Moran. Some of the community volunteers were Steve Hansen, Taylor Hanson, and Cody DeBont. And we had the good fortune to have a plumber volunteer his time to do the sink hookups. And that was Super Duper Plumbing. And the owner, Reed Larson, did the work for us. Did a wonderful job. I just want to thank you all, as does the whole board, for the exceptional efforts on this project. Thank you. And having said that, I think I've covered everything I wanted to.
All right. Nathan, you're next. Being gone, what do you have for us?
The only thing I've got is Esko's Corner deadline for the next article is August 10th. So that's on Monday at 3 p.m. I'm still planning on writing up an article, but I would love it if anybody has any information at all. I sent out an email either last week or the week before. Any information you'd want to be included in that article at all, I'd love to have that so I can get it in there. And then I know Ruth had reached out to Community Ed to see if they'd be doing a candidate forum for the town board. I know that that's something that's been done in the past. That was one thing I wish I would have had the opportunity to do back in 2024. So that would be nice to see. And if not, maybe that's something that I don't know, I myself could think about organizing something. But if you've got any information at all that you'd like to see in that article, I would love to have you send that over.
Say, Nathan, this letter that I just read, would that be something that you could incorporate into your article?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll email us. It's on a Word document, so I could just email it to
Okay.
you.
Yeah,
I'll
thank
do
you.
that.
My turn? Okay,
Yep.
Nathan, I did check with Esko Corner publication. Like you said, deadline is the 10th. But because of the election coming up, it's going to be hard pressed to get our candidates in that Esko Corner. So talking to Melanie, we're looking, she's right now, I talked to her again about the candidate forum. She's going to look into what they can do because there's new school board members as well. So it'd be nice to meet the candidates there, along with the three new candidates for town board supervisor. But because it's such a push to try to get it in the Esko Corner, we discussed possibly a special edition going out with just their bios. And then that gives her time to set up. And then previously the candidate forums have been at the school and they've been on the stage there. So if you wanted to coordinate at some point with Melanie, some ideas that you have about that, that'd be great. And then I'm just asked Tiffany if we would be able to put these on the website, their biographies as they come through for the new candidates. Is that something we can do?
I would think so. There shouldn't be any reason we can't do that, right, Mike?
Not as long as you treat all the candidates equally.
Right.
Okay. Tiffany, what do you have for us?
I did get the contract signed with Cassell for the accounting software. So once they get the payment, we'll get started going with that. And I put a flyer from Curry and Ruthie about the township legal seminar, if anybody's interested in that. Other than that, I think that's about it.
Mike, do you have anything for us?
Same thing I said before, that the cotton one will likely fill up early. So if you do want to go to the seminar, please let our office know as soon as possible. Other than that, no, nothing much. I am going to be working with Dan Stangl a little bit just to make sure that we've got something in place on the 60-day rule, so that the applications as they come in are calendared, and that we are following them through to completion. So I will work with him probably. I thought I would be this week, but I got sidetracked on some other stuff. I will try and do that next week.
Okay. Did I miss anyone? Nope. All right. We can have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make
So
that
moved.
motion.
Nathan
Gary.
made it. Nathan got it. Second by Gary. Any discussion? All right, roll call.
Nathan,
Aye.
Gary,
Hi,
Ruth.
Aye. I'm done.
hi, hi. I'll
Aye,
get
aye.
out of here.
I'm out of here.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
You bet.
Ruth, just so you know, the Pine Knot sends questions to all the candidates and contested races. Not ones, you got that one that's solo.
Oh,
We-
our
that we send
supervisor
out.
race doesn't go into the pineapple.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so we do a special section that goes countywide
Sure.
in early October. So
Sure.
if you want to save money,
Yeah. so you-
Esko's corner is just electronic.
Well,
anyway.
well, the thing is, there's those people that don't buy the pine nuts.
No, this is what I'm saying. We send it free to every home in the county
Oh,
in October.
okay,
So,
okay.
but you have two races that are contested, so we would ask those people our questions that we think are important. But they're pretty basic, like,
Right,
what do you think are the major issues? What, their
Right.
background,
right.
and we give them word limits.
Right.
But anyway, so I just wanted to let you know.
Well, yeah, that's
So,
good. Good to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So then if it doesn't get in the Esko corner, not a panic
Right.
because everybody,
because it will go out to all of the
well, I
counties.
appreciate you come up to say
Yeah.
that because I didn't.
Yeah.
And you
I can't know.
got the name change for,
I did, Simon Smith. Yeah, got it.
where that came from.
And yeah, I don't know because it was weird. Anyway, I don't know where it came from,
No problem.
but thanks.
Oh, yeah. And you didn't even notice it
Yeah,
until I told you.
I wasn't paying attention.
Simon Smith.